emotional day for me, rather than anything else, because I was just wondering. It was almost 5 years back in 2010 that I fell in love with the whole concept of crowdfunding and left my job at the venture capital fund to launch India's first crowdfunding platform way back in 2010. Needless to say, we flopped. Nothing happened for next 1 year. I think the whole traction, the whole awareness of crowdfunding was not so much prevalent at that point in time. But today I'm so glad that we have amazing platform, so much people talking about crowdfunding, and I think today I'm quite thankful that crowdfunding finally is getting in India and finally is now going to shape up the startup ecosystem, which is a great thing to happen for sure. Just to give you a brief introduction, we essentially till now have been a rewards-based crowdfunding platform. Started out way back in 2013. Crowdfunding is my second platform in the crowdfunding space. As I said, the first one was launched way back in 2010. That's a different story altogether now. With being the most rewarding launchpad for ideas, because we thought that if we anyway are getting into the space of rewards, let's make it much more interesting and much more rewarding for our contributors. So in that perspective, we were the first one to introduce a three-tier reward model for our projects, which meant that while most of the other crowdfunding platforms, it's normally the projects which give out the rewards, in our case, we also added two more layers to it. So we added our own set of rewards, which we have in terms of various merchandise, and we also have our own loyalty points, which we added on to the platform to increase its gamification, and as I said, to make it more rewarding for the contributors to contribute to projects. So that was one of the innovations that we initially brought in. We were the first assisted platform to be launched. So not only we had a specific team which worked very closely with our projects and helped them to kind of roll out the whole crowdfunding campaign, we also managed to get some very well-known experts from different creative sectors who came on board as mentors, and we kind of leveraged their expertise to help these projects, not just for their crowdfunding campaign, but also for taking that next step. So it was a part of small mentoring that we used to give to these guys who used to come to us for crowdfunding. We thought that that is something which will further build up the whole ecosystem. Yeah. And again, while we started out with creative projects, now today we are a domain agnostic platform, so which means that we today are supporting and trying to understand what all areas can crowdfunding play a role. So we have creative projects, we have a few sports people, and we are now focusing on, we are also trying a lot to bring early stage startups and technology startups onto the platform. So that's where the next focus is going to come. Yeah. So I think that was the introduction of Catapooolt till date. So let me now come to what we are now endeavoring to do. And thanks to this interesting panel discussion, I think they have been a very good precursor to all that I'm going to say here. So normally, if you have seen, most of the crowdfunding platforms in India as of now have clear directions. So either they are only focusing on the community's part. So I think all of you, Wishberry and BitGiving or Keto, so they are just focusing on making it a mass rewards-based model, wherein no one is investing. People are just contributing and they're getting rewards or they're getting recognition out of it. So that has been one spectrum of crowdfunding platforms, and on the other hand, the spectrum has only been focusing on investors. So think about Let's Venture. So Let's Venture again is an angel-backed platform which is only focusing on targeting investors and not targeting masses. But what's been happening in global markets is that today communities and investors have started to work together in the whole ecosystem. So they have started to understand that where could the synergies be explored together rather than being different. So if I take some global examples. So these are some global examples, and how the things are now shaping up in markets. So, for example, Canony, which is a technology product, Now they have gone through three different rounds of funding, as you would see. There was a pre-crowdfunding round, which was done by seed investors, and despite the fact that they have raised their seed funding, they still went to a crowdfunding platform, and they raised about 1.96 million on Indiegogo and raised Series A funding from Costa Ventures. And same happened with some other technology startups today. So you see what is happening here. So it's not that a startup is only going to only investor or only a crowdfunding platform. Everyone is coming together and everyone is playing a role in the whole funding life cycle. How does it help? I'm going to just talk about that. We did that. We also have taken an example on these lines from India, which is the next slide, which is Car IQ, which was a technology startup based out of Pune. Now, before Car IQ came on Catapooolt for crowdfunding, they already had raised their seed funding round from Post Ventures, which was for about $0.4 million. And after they've done the seed funding round, they came on to Catapooolt then, saying that now we want to use a crowdfunding platform to get pre-orders, to get market validation, to understand that how people are accepting our products and how people are reacting to our product, and how could be our initial marketing strategies could be devised. So they again raised a small crowdfunding campaign through Catapooolt, and after that now they have been accepted by Microsoft Ventures and Reliance Gen Next, and now they are going to for the next round of fundraising. I also have a small slide which is talking about which is a comment by Sagar Apte, who's the founder of Car IQ, and he basically talks about his experience of using a technology product and using crowdfunding as a way to fund it, despite having already got his seed funding from Post Ventures. I think it's a long statement, so maybe you can read it later. So let's move on to the next slide quickly. So I think this is what I want to emphasize on. That why should today startups look at considering not only investors, but they should also look at considering crowdfunding platforms, because there are a lot of advantages of doing that. Today crowdfunding is not just about funding, it is more about getting a market validation. Today it is more about getting a one-on-one feedback from who could be the early adopters of your product, who could be the early market people who would buy your product. So that is where this role of investors for start funding is getting more and more important. It also helps startups to now have more data to show to the next set of investors. So next slide. So that's what that's what we're trying to now build on in terms of what Catapooolt is now trying to endeavor. So as this slide shows, and as I think this slide also very effectively answered the question which was raised during one of the gentlemen at the panel discussion, that why can't mentors and early stage investors and committees all come together and invest in ideas through a crowdfunding platform? And that is exactly what I think we at Catapooolt will now be trying to do. So as I said, this proposition makes it a win-win deal for everyone in the whole ecosystem, because your investors are able to see that okay, your idea is getting a validation, your idea is getting the early set of customers, and hence that's the data which gives a lot more confidence to the investors that yes, there is a demand for this potential idea. So this automatically reduces the need for a due diligence and also increases the confidence of investors in a startup idea. Stick to that slide. Same again for communities, because again you as a contributor, you as a potential customer, if you see an idea which is already backed by an early stage investor, your confidence in that idea will also be much more. So you will also be far more confident of investing that small amount of money also in that idea. And finally, for the startup, it brings the best of both the worlds. So you get your investors who can help you to fund a larger amount of money and help you to close the financial closure which you're looking at. And on the other hand, you get support from the communities who are your first customers and who are giving you that market feedback and validation which you need before you go to the final market. So as I said, So what we are launching is Catapooolt Catalyst, and we are very happy and proud to be partnering with two big ecosystem players in this. One is Aha Ventures itself, and another one is FHS 100 Sales, First 100 Sales, which is India's first virtual accelerator. So yeah. Next. So this is how this model will work essentially. I'm sorry. Yeah. So as I said that now we are three entities which are coming together to support early stage ideas, and these are specifically for ideas which is looking to raise less 10 or up to 25 lakhs. So the way it will work is with Catapooolt, we being a crowdfunding platform will help the idea to get engaged with communities. Will help them to find who could be prospective consumers or prospective markets who could come and fund you in return of rewards. As I said, we will help the idea to get online amplification. Also, another point, Catapooolt, we have also, the other thing we are doing is we are also building a very huge offline network. So we already are talking with a few retail outlets out there in the market, and gradually we will have a retail presence across 2 lakh outlets. And this becomes quite critical in a market like India, where the online space is still limited, and you still need that offline push to reach out to your prospective consumers and to enhance the awareness for your idea. Because what I've realized over last 5 years that even if the idea is good, what could be the biggest challenge in crowdfunding is finally till what extent can you make your idea aware, to what extent can you make people aware of your idea. Because I think today the money is not the problem. The whole problem is end of the day is all about awareness. So the more and more people become aware about your idea, the more and more support will your idea get. So these are the kind of things which Catapooolt will support idea with. The first 100 sales, which I said is a virtual accelerator. So they have a technology platform and they have a network with leading mentors. So that is the support that they will bring. So if the idea comes on the platform, while we help them to connect with communities, first 100 sales will help them to connect with mentors who can kind of progressively work on that idea and improve it till the time it reaches to the market. And first 100 sales also have evolved a progressing rating system for a startup, which would make it much more easier both for the communities as well as investors to understand the investability of an idea. So that is something which they will bring on board. And Aha Ventures, obviously, as Harsha just said, they have a huge network of 400 plus angel investors, and these are the guys who would then be given access to these ideas, and they would be invited to potentially invest in these ideas. And plus, Aha Ventures will not just give support at the early stage, but since they have capabilities to support even up to Series A funding, which means that an idea which gets funding at this stage will get continuous support from Aha Ventures even for the next round of fundraising for them. Yeah. So I think that's what Catapooolt Catalyst is endeavoring to do. So we're trying to add communities plus investors together and let them help startup ideas. Yep, that's it.